So we have a couple of attendees that are filtering in right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our first interest session here at the very first Walla Walla University Virtual U-Days event. And I am a recruiter for Marketing Enrollment Services, Jerry Larson. Some of you, I recognize your names from our previous interactions, and I want to welcome you to this interest session. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Terawinga and his students, his business students, and they'll be providing you with the content information about the School of Business and our programs that are offered within that division of our campus here. And the way that this is going to go is you'll have access to the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. And while the presenters are giving the information about the program, we're going to hold those questions till the end, and then we'll have a period of time where those questions can be answered. So feel free to use that tool with specific questions about the School of Business, and then we'll get to those questions towards the end. If we do have some time at the very end, we might allow you to raise your hand and take some verbal questions from you. But because we are recording this and we're going to be preserving it so that it can be viewed by those people who might have had a conflict with interest sessions that they're viewing right now, we don't want to include those verbal questions as part of that recording. So that would be at the very, very end. So right now I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Terawinga and the School of Business, and hopefully you enjoy this and it's an informative time for you. Welcome to Walla Walla University tonight.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Jerry, for your time. We appreciate your support this afternoon. And I'm here with Kelsey and Carlos. Kelsey and Carlos, they are both business majors, and this is their last quarter at Walla Walla University, and I'm glad that they're able to join us this afternoon. Kelsey, Carlos, do you want to say something to our group, maybe a welcome to our participants?
Yeah, welcome. We're glad that you're here, even though it's virtually. I know it's not ideal, but we're glad that you're interested in Walla Walla, and specifically the business department.
Okay, all right. Oh, go ahead, Carlos.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to unmute myself. We're still trying to figure this out. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about the business department and talk to you guys about what our experience has been like, and hopefully you guys get to come down when it's more safe to do so.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. To get us started off here, I would like to have a conversation with Carlos and Kelsey here about what is common between dating, personal relationships, and business, right? In a dating relationship or a personal relationship, I believe communication is important. Why is that also important in a business relationship?
Well, I think it's important because the people you're doing business with, you want to know what expectations are and make sure you can meet those to keep a good business relationship.
Wonderful.
Yeah, in order for business to flow smoothly, you have to communicate smoothly with people. People have to understand that, yeah, expectations and goals and objectives.
Wonderful, wonderful. You said it pretty well. What about the willingness to work together? It is obviously very important in personal relationships to be willing to work together. Why is that also important in a business setting or in business relationships?
Sure. I think you're not going to get very far in business if you're not willing to compromise a little bit, because you can't just get in there and like dominate the game. There's a partnership to business that has to be looked at as well.
Yeah, it's hard work, and there's definitely give and take. You have to be willing to compromise in some areas and sacrifice for the good of everybody else, just as you would expect others to. That's just part of working together.
Thank you, thank you. What about trust? Trust is important, obviously, in personal relationships. Without trust, there could be lies, there could be fear, people could be hurt. Why is that also important to have trust in a business setting?
Right. Well, we were talking about this earlier, and I was saying it's easier in a business setting to be able to trust somebody because there's a lot of like legal things in place to make it so you can. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you don't trust the people you're doing business with, it's going to be a really rocky relationship, and it's going to be hard to function that way.
Yeah, I mean, as we've experienced working on projects, everybody has their piece of the puzzle that they're bringing to the table, and you have to trust that everybody else is going to adequately bring their share of the puzzle to the table so that you guys can walk away with a complete project.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing about that. Let me go ahead and Lord, share my screen here. I have a presentation. Gary, I need to be able to share my screen if you don't mind letting us do that. Jerry, if you don't mind helping us here, I want to be able to share my screen. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. All right. I'd like to go ahead here and continue with our conversation. Just a second here. And once again, welcome to our School of Business interest session. And I think like Carlos and Kelsey have said it pretty well, very important to have good communication skills because they are very important. If you communicate with your stakeholders, with your business partners in marketing, PR, you need to be able to have good communication skills. And also the willingness to work together is very important. For you to achieve that common goal in a business setting, you have to be able to work together with your other partners. And then our personal relationships, trust is very important there. Otherwise, you're going to, it is going to lead to lying and fear, deception, broken hearts without trust. And the same thing in a business setting. And I like what you said, Carlos, there, that there are a lot of legal requirements which kind of forces that. But I think it's also very important because without trust, in a work environment where there is lack of trust, it becomes very toxic and it doesn't lead to good business. And then then the willingness to work together, obviously very important. As human beings, we have a lot of habits, some of them annoying habits that we have to be willing to let go. And in a business setting, there are a lot of changes, right? Customers are changing, markets are changing, and you have to be willing to change. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive. The same thing with looking for win-win arrangements, very important in a personal relationship and also very important in a business setting for you to be able to get into a win-win situation. Now, to kind of get started, since we have established that, I'd like for us to hopefully be able to answer these two questions as we proceed. In other words, what are employers looking for in business graduates and how are you going to win, right? Because there are so many graduates out there and so many business schools. So how are you going to be able to win? And to get us started, I'd like for us to have a very quick poll. Please, if you could pick up your cell phones, I'd like for you to text. I'd like for you to text to this number here, 37607. Go ahead and text this message here. When you do that, you're going to enter the poll. You can also join by just entering this web address here. And when you have joined, I'd like for you to answer the question, why are you interested in a business degree? Why are you interested in a business degree? So please go ahead and enter to this number, enter this text message to get into the poll. And then once you are in the poll, I'd like for you to answer this question. Why are you interested in a business degree? And as you submit your responses, there we go. Somebody says money there. We'll talk about that. Somebody says jobs. Why are you interested in a business degree? Jobs experience. Okay. relationships, business, starting a business. And some are pre-med. I saw orthodontist there. Okay, those are pretty good answers. I see experiences. A lot of you are entering experience. It's pretty bold there. And business, I'm pretty sure if you're interested in starting your own business. All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all for submitting all those responses. This gives us an idea of why you are interested in business, and that we should be able to speak to some of your interests here this afternoon. Thank you very much. So I'm going to close this, and then we will kind of move on with our presentation. All right, so I'd like to talk about, if I were a prospective student and I'm looking for a degree, I'd like to know if that degree is marketable. In other words, am I going to get a job, right? Am I going to get a job in the end? And I hear there's a study that is done by NACE. NACE is the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and they do a study every year. In 2019, as you can see, 5 out of the 10 the top 10 majors in demand were business related, and your finance and accounting, they're usually at the top most of the time. In 2018, the same study, 9 out of 10 majors in demand were business related. So to me, that tells me that there is a demand. Employers are looking for business majors, and our business graduates are marketable. You might not be able to see this very clearly on your end, but it just shows average hourly wage. If you look at your finance, your accounting, your economics, your business other, it shows that our business graduates, they're also paid well on average. The same thing on the right side here, it shows the average unemployment. If you look at accounting, finance, business administration and management, economics, it also shows that once employed, there is very little unemployment for the business graduates. So I think that would be important for me if I were looking for a degree or considering different degrees. I'd like to talk about the degrees that we actually offer at Walla Walla University in the School of Business. We have a Bachelor of Business Administration, what we call the BBA. With a BBA, you'll be able to choose an area of concentration. So accounting, entrepreneurship, finance, management, marketing. So if you know for sure that you want to be a CPA, or you want to be in finance, or you want to be in marketing, then this would be recommended. And you take about 36 credits in that area of concentration. And then we have a Bachelor of Arts with a major in Business Administration. Because it's a Bachelor of Arts, you're required to have 12 credits that are foreign language if you decide to take the Bachelor of Arts. And then the Bachelor of Science with a major in Business Administration. This option, I saw somebody who said they're interested in being in the medical field. This is probably what we would recommend for all our pre-med, our pre-dent, our pre-PT, all those pre-professionals. We recommend this because it gives you about 44 credits of general electives, which is almost 1 year of classes that you can take in your area of interest. And then a major in global development, if you're interested in working in any non-profits or NGOs, then that would be the degree that we recommend. These last 3 are what we call interdisciplinary degrees. So if you're interested in computer science and business, then you can consider information systems. If you're interested in the automotive industry and business, then you can consider automotive management. If you're interested in the aviation industry and also business, then you can consider aviation management. We also have here an associate in business. We also have some minors that we have for non-business majors. And then we have some certificates, and these certificates can actually be on your transcript. So if you take certain classes and you reach competency in those classes, then you can actually be able to get a certificate. And I'll talk, for example, about here this business analytics certificate. a lot of companies today, they are collecting a lot of data. And what do they do with that data? They should be able to analyze that data and get useful information that can help them to gain a competitive advantage. So for those business students or graduates who walk in with the ability to analyze data, they have a competitive advantage over those students who might not have the same skills. So that is something that our employers are really looking for in the marketplace these days. And before I proceed, I'd like to just take a minute here and have a conversation with Kelsey and Carlos. Do you mind sharing with our participants what is your major and what you like about your major and probably why you chose your major?
Yeah, sure, I can go first. My major is finance, and I didn't start out finance. I started kind of just taking general classes, and I think actually the class that made me want to pursue finance more was one of Dr. Taves' classes on managerial finance. And that whole area was really interesting to me because it kind of combines economics, which is a lot of history and theoretical stuff, with kind of the math behind it. And it's super practical stuff. You learn about the stock market, how that works, and investments, retirement funds, real estate. The accounting is less fun for me, but you also get a lot of accounting. But I think it's really foundational to like just understanding business in general. And even though I don't like it particularly enjoy it, I think it's really useful to be able to understand what the numbers mean when looking at a business. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, I started out theology, so it made the most sense for me to do a BA when I added business, because there's those language requirements. So Greek and Hebrew filled that naturally for me. And I've also enjoyed the flexibility of it to also have another major on the side. It's allowed me to do both, which I really enjoyed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing here with our participants about your majors. All right, so let us continue here with our presentation. Now, so as far as the classes that you'll be able to take for the BBA, the Bachelor of Science, the BA, and the Global Development, as you can see, the general studies, they're pretty much the same here, except for the foreign language that is required here for the BA and also for the Global Development. And then the core business classes, they're also pretty similar for all the degrees. The only difference is just a couple classes here that you don't have to take if you are a Bachelor of Science, and a couple classes here that you don't have to take if you are a BA or Global Development. But otherwise, most of the core business classes are pretty similar. Here is where you are going to see that main difference, right? If you are BBA, then you have to spend 36 credits, right? You have to take 36 credits in your area of concentration. If you are Global Development, you also take about 32 credits in your area of concentration. So very specific classes that you need in order to do well in that concentration. And then general electives, about 16, and this is very important for the Bachelor of Science, about 44 general electives. So for those pre-med, pre-dent, pre-professional students, or sometimes even transfer students, then they are able to use these credits to take all those biology and chemistry classes that they need. And even for some of our business students, they actually just are able to customize and come up with their own concentration. So they might pick accounting and finance and management and classes to make up that 44 credits. And obviously 192 credits to graduate. So if you take about 16 credits every quarter for 4 years, then you'll be able to graduate in exactly 4 years. Then we also believe that our students are able to learn their concepts exceptionally well. And how do we know that? There is a test that is taken, it's called a major field test. This test is taken by over 500 business schools in the country. And our students have been able to do pretty well. If you look at the scores for our students in the last 6-7 years, it has been above the 90th percentile. Okay, and some of these schools in this list are some of the elite business schools here in the country. If you look at that list, it's all business schools. And our students last year, out of the 103,000 students who took the test, our students actually did much better than 90,000 of the students who took the test. To us, this test is able to tell us and to show us that our students actually learning their concepts exceptionally very well. And we get a lot of feedback from our students when they go out and they go to work. We always get the feedback that we felt better prepared. We felt better prepared going to graduate schools, and I think it is a reflection that they've learned the concepts very well. And then the professors that will be teaching your classes. This is the list of the professors here. And when they are underlined here, it means that they run some kind of business or they work professionally in the areas that they teach. And that is something that we encourage our professors to do. Why? Because we believe that they'll be able to bring that knowledge back into the classroom. So for example here, just to pick up a couple here, Professor Kanaband, she runs a marketing company, and she does a lot of develops a lot of marketing campaigns, for companies, and work with companies small and large to help them with their marketing needs. Professor Andrew Dressler here, he runs a packaging company where he sells horse supplements to pretty much customers all over the world. I do run an export business where I sell hundreds of trucks, semi-trucks every year to several countries in Southern Africa. So once again, we believe it is important for our professors to be able to bring that knowledge from the real world into the classroom so that our students are not only learning book knowledge, but they're also learning how to apply that knowledge. And if they are boarded here, it means that they've received some kind of award, either teaching, advising, research, or community service. I'd like to pause here and take a minute to ask Kelsey and Carlos, do you mind sharing what you like about the professors here at Walla Walla University in the School of Business?
Sorry, I think the biggest thing is that they're really accessible, and I think the fact that they are knowledgeable, like in the real world of business, and a lot of them have had their own like practices and stuff like that, makes like the stories and the lectures like that much more interesting, and actually like you feel like you want to learn from them because they seem like they know what they're talking about. And they're really open to talking with you office hours, and they're just really friendly and approachable. So.
Okay.
Yeah, they really just seem like they care both inside the classroom and outside. And I think the fact that they are so accessible really encourages that. It's just a great department. I love all the professors.
All right, thank you, Kelsey and Carlos. All right, I'd like to continue here, and with the same hints that I've already given before, that we really emphasize hands-on real-world training whilst you are still in school. We believe that is very important so that you can actually have a competitive edge when you are done. Just as an example here, strategic plans. Our students, they work on strategic plans for local small businesses, non-profits, and sometimes even some organizations outside of Walla Walla. Just as an example, a local dentist here, they were kind of struggling, and they invited our students to work on a strategic plan for their business. And at the end of the quarter, they came with their staff, and our students presented these recommendations. It's almost like free consultation, and they really took those recommendations to heart. Marketing surveys, for example, here, recently the City of College Place was very interested in assessing the wishes of residents as far as recreational facilities, and our students were able to go out door to door to conduct a survey. Police were called a couple times, but at the end of the quarter, the mayor and the city officials came into the classroom, and our students presented these recommendations, and they really took those recommendations very seriously. And and the list just goes on. QuickBooks, preparing videos and campaigns, social media. I'm going to share with you here, this video is about 3 minutes or so. I'll probably just play 1 minute of this video for you to be able to see some of the work. And this was developed at CM Bell with one of our students who was an intern working at CM Bell during their internship. And they helped to develop this video, which has been used to promote business in the Walla Walla Chamber of Commerce. So I'm just going to play a couple, just a minute of that video. Well, it looks like my internet is jealousy here, so I will stop this and we'll continue. I'll probably just send this as a link for some of you that might be interested. And I'm sorry about that slowness in our internet. But that is just a video that was developed once again by one of our students as they worked with as an intern at one of the local marketing companies here in town. All right, and then we also have our competitions, what we call Shark Tank or Launch You competitions. So for those students that are interested, I think I saw a couple of students there, they mentioned about starting their own business or entrepreneurship. So this is a place where you can actually bring your ideas, and students have been able to win up to $10,000 through this competition. Last year, these are the 3 teams that won $5,000, $3,000, and $2,000. And this year, we went through the semifinals, and 5 teams were actually successful. Unfortunately, we could not hold the finals because of COVID-19, but each of those 5 teams were able to receive $2,000. So this is money that they can use as seed money to just keep on working on their suggestions. So if you're interested in starting a business, I'll definitely encourage you to join the Shark Tank or the Launch You competitions, because you'll be interacting with some of these individuals here. They run multi-million-dollar businesses, and they're very successful business professionals, and they're able to give the feedback that you need in order to improve your ideas as you work towards starting a business. We are also part of Enactus, which is actually a global organization, and we have a chapter here on campus. So if you're interested in innovation and solving social problems, then I would encourage you to be part of Enactus. And as you can see, Kelsey here, part of Enactus. And let me ask Kelsey maybe a question here. What do you enjoy most about Enactus, and what are some of the projects that you have considered here in the past?
Yeah, and Actus has been really great for learning how to work with people on projects and how to work on business plans. A lot of that can seem really ambiguous before actually getting in there and getting your hands dirty and working on that. We've had a number of recycling projects. I know there was a project I worked on for a while with agritourism, which sounds like I had no idea what that was, but just the idea of bringing tourists to smaller towns and showing them the perks of what a small town can offer. So just projects like that really opened up my eyes to what goes into creating business plans. And I learned a lot about working with people.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Kelsey. All right, and to continue here, I would like to also talk about internships. They are required, 100% of our students, kind of the same thing, right? Practical real world experience. This is something that is very important for us. And as a result, we require all our students that they have to have an internship. And usually they are over summer months, and it's about 120 hours that is required of internship. Most students end up obviously working for more than 120 hours. Some of these are paid, some of them are not paid. And this is just a sample or a handful of companies where some of our students have been interns. Some of these, for example, students are paid $15 an hour. They are flown over to Florida. The accommodation is paid for. We also have a lot of internships during the school year. Actually, we have way more internships than we have students that are available to take on those opportunities. So once again, this is something that is very important, something that can be on your resume, and something that we believe helps our students to connect what they are learning in the classroom to what goes on in the real world. We also have a business club here, which is one of the largest clubs on campus. And I'm going to ask maybe Kelsey again. Do you want to talk a little bit about the business club and your experience? I saw your face there on that picture for leaders in the business club.
Yeah, I've been working as a spiritual VP for the business club for 2 years now. And again, that's just a lot of great experience planning with people. It's a big club, so planning for that many people, creating fun events is really rewarding.
Yeah. It's my understanding that you're responsible for thousands of dollars, every quarter that you have to plan for and work with students as you interact with them through that club. So once again, a very good opportunity and a place to enjoy a wide variety of social and spiritual activities as you interact with others. And for our business majors, another platform for them to actually apply what they have learned in the classroom. They can be able to show that as they lead other students through this club. And then every year we have a senior trip where our students are able to go out. And in 2019, we went to Microsoft and Packer, and it was such a beautiful experience. And we spent the weekend at the beach over at Rosario. And this year we are supposed to go to Boeing actually this last week. But that obviously those plans were shelved because of COVID-19. But it is an opportunity for our senior class before they go out in the world to just go out and network and see what is going on at these companies, and also spend a weekend at a spiritual retreat with some of the very successful business owners and professionals who are able to share from their perspective what it is to be a Christian executive in a business world. And then the other thing that I want to talk about is external verification of our program quality. So just don't take our word, right? So we are accredited by ACBSP, and they came here about a couple of years ago and they gave us 10 years, right? 10 years is the maximum that you can get under this accrediting body. And for us, that was a validation of the quality of our program. And also for you as a prospective business student, it means that your classes, your degree is going to be recognized as you go to work. Or if you transfer to another institution, your classes are going to be recognized. But most importantly, when you go to graduate school, for those that are planning to go to med school or some, maybe law school, those classes will be recognized. But we were really happy to get that 10-year period as validation for our quality. Then we are also excited for the School of Business to be in the newest building on campus, the Bowers Hall, $5 million in renovation. A lot of collaborative spaces in this building. We love it. We love it. Students love it. And we are thankful for all the donors that made it possible for us to call Bowers the home for the School of Business. And we hope that you'll also be able to enjoy that space when you come to campus. Also, I'd like to talk about connecting with business leaders and entrepreneurs. Well, let me ask you a question here, and you can submit your answers through the question and answer session, okay? Which of these famous people have a business degree? I'm pretty sure you recognize some faces here on this list, but which of these famous people have a business degree? If you could just quickly submit your answers via the question and answer, that would be great. And for some of you, you have said all of the above, and that is very correct, all of the above. And there are no promises that you're going to be that rich and famous, but a business degree from Walla Walla University will give you that good foundation that you need. I was going to have another poll here, but I noticed that we are kind of getting close on time. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about some of the jobs that you can actually be able to get into as a business major. In other words, what are the types of jobs for business majors? And this is just a very short list, right? So business degrees, they offer you quite some flexibility. You can work in literally any industry, right? I'm yet to see an industry that doesn't have a job for a business major, because all those companies, all those organizations, they really work with business majors that are running those organizations. So the list just goes on, right? Customer service, administrative service manager, accountants, HR administrators. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And that is one of the, that is the beauty of a business degree, that it gives you that flexibility that you can work in any industry that you really like to work in with your business degree. Then I'd like to talk about some of the leaders that we invite to campus through the Colloquium series. Every quarter, we have about 5 events where we invite these successful professionals, business owners. They come to campus and they talk to our students. They share their stories, how they succeeded. They share about their struggles that they have gone through. And just to mention a few here, Megan Club, she worked for the U.S. Federal Reserve, and she's actually a chairwoman for a local bank here in town. And she came and she spoke to our students. Rachel Ruggieri graduated from Walla Walla U School of Business, VP at Starbucks. She also came. Ken Azo, alumni, I believe he just left Boeing, but he came and he presented to our students, and our students were able to learn from his experience. George Fearing, he's actually a chief judge in the Washington Court of Appeals, and he comes every quarter actually to talk to our students. And we really enjoy to see him on campus as he network and interacts with our students. Kerry, some of you might know Kerry, who is CEO for Loma Linda University Medical Center, also graduated from Walla Walla University. He came and he was able to present to our students. Eric and Ron Wilkinson, you know, their family, they've started this business and they have a machine that is called a bread bot or a bread robot. And it's very neat. And they've been featured in a lot of magazines. And that is just one example of how students are able to go out and be entrepreneurial and be able to work with their family, in this case, to actually start up new products that are successful. And the list just goes on here. You know, we might not be able to go over, you know, and talk about all these individuals, but once again, an opportunity for our students to be able to interact. I'm going to pause here, and maybe Carlos and Kelsey, I know you've attended probably dozens of these colloquium events. Do you mind sharing with our participants what you have gained from these colloquium events?
I think a lot of it is just their experiences and kind of their the path that they go through after undergraduate school, which is just the beginning of a career. Because I know in particular, I remember Bethany Logan Ropa's presentation was really good because she was a French major, I think, if I remember right.
Yes.
And she went on to go to MIT and got her MBA there, and now she's a big time like Wall Street person. So I don't know, they all just have really cool, very different stories. You get like a really diverse set of stories, which is really fun to hear.
Yeah, I think my favorite part is probably hearing about how they had no idea what they were going to do and how through the hard work and the right connections, they ended up where they're at now. And so for me, sometimes when the future is uncertain, that's really promising. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's see if we can wrap this up and then move on to our question and answer session. So also placement in jobs, these are some of the places that our students have been placed, or graduate schools. This is just a handful of those places. So 98% of our Walla Walla University graduates are placed in jobs in graduate school within 12 months of graduation. So we are happy that our students are able to find jobs or to go to graduate school or to med school and actually succeed after they graduate here at Walla Walla University. And then last but not least, we live a Christian-based, values-driven life that reflects integrity and service to others. You know, we believe and we hope that when our students graduate here from Walla Walla University, in particular from the School of Business, that they'll be able to go out there and with integrity, be able to be successful business practitioners in this world as they serve others and do their work. And so we have an honor code. This was actually developed by one of our students, Tyler Shewing, who graduated in 2016. And at the beginning of each year and at the end of each year, we actually pledge and go over this honor code with all our students, because we believe this is very important for us to show that integrity. If you want to experience all this, come build your future at Walla Walla University School of Business. Many others have seen the light and joined our program, which has experienced a 35% growth in enrollment in the last 7 years. We hope to see you this coming fall at Walla Walla University School of Business. I have a video here, but I think I'll play that video right towards the end. It's a video that was, we just interviewed several students that were able to talk about their experiences here in the School of Business at Walla Walla University. So for now, I think let us go ahead and open this up to the question and answer session. And Jerry is going to help us with that part as we respond to the questions that have been presented.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for helping us with this. And a special thanks to our students. We really appreciate your perspective as well. I do want to say before we get to answering any questions that might come in, that if you haven't already registered for the closing meeting this evening, I just wanted to remind you to do that. We're going to be giving away some scholarships that had been earned over the course of the last week or so. And then there's some additional information and some kind of points of interest about the university during that meeting at the end of our interest sessions tonight. And I believe that that meeting starts at 7 p.m. So make sure that you get a chance to do that. I have not actually received any open questions in the, you guys are either doing a really good job of answering all the questions, or the students might not have found the Q&A. We did have some of those that answered the poll in the questions, and of course I dismissed those, but we do have about 8 minutes for our remaining participants.
Sure.
And I see one's come in, so maybe the floodgates will open now. The question is, what is your favorite part about the business school? And I'll let you guys answer that one live because I can't type an answer to that at all.
Okay, I'll let Kelsey and Carlos answer that question.
For me, I would just have to say the professors. One of my probably first couple months that I was in the business department, my birthday had just passed. I think I'd added business right afterwards, and they still sent me a birthday card. And for me, that just showed how much they cared about me. And then my experiences in all the classrooms, I've felt like I've walked away with the knowledge I needed and then some.
Yeah. I don't know if we touched on this, but definitely the internships, like, because every student is basically guaranteed an internship at the School of Business. And some of those opportunities are really cool. We've had some guys go to like Chick-fil-A, like big investment firms like Ernst & Young and stuff like that. So that's a really great opportunity you get if you come to the School of Business here.
Okay. Next question. What's the difference between finance and accounting, and how do I know which one is right for me?
Okay, I'll let Carlos respond to that, then I'll add to your response, Carlos, since you're a finance major there.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, actually. I wasn't sure about that for a long time. The line is really blurred between the two. There's a lot of finance and accounting, and there's a lot of accounting and finance. And if you're not sure, I'd say just go for like a general business, because all the business core classes kind of have to take the same general business classes. And I guess there as well you'll find out. But the way I differentiate between the two is accounting is more how you get the numbers, in your income statement and financial reports and all that kind of stuff. And finance is more of the interpretation of that and like how to make decisions based off those numbers and form strategies and that kind of thing.
Okay, all right. And just to add to that, so if you're interested, for example, in being a CPA, accounting, for organizations, then obviously you'd consider the accounting concentration. But if you're interested in maybe financial advising, maybe at working over there in the Wall Street, just in the finance industry, in banking, then you might actually be, in that case, be able to consider finance as a concentration.
To follow up, Justin has a follow-up question. Can you have a concentration in accounting and finance?
Yes, it is actually very possible to have a double concentration. Actually, most of our accounting students, they end up with a double concentration because for you to sit for the CPA exam, you need 225 credits right, just for you to qualify. But our degree only offers 192 credits. So most of our students, they end up double majoring. That way, they actually build up the credits that they need to get to 225. And they're able to get both accounting and finance in that case. So yes, it is possible.
Okay, I'm going to combine two questions here. One is, what kind of internships have you personally had? And what has been your favorite internship? I don't know if you guys have had more than one internship. So, you know, obviously your favorite would be the one you've had if it's only been one, but let's get those questions.
Okay, that's for you, Carlos and Kelsey.
So I was kind of late to the game in applying. I didn't really like apply with intention really until junior year. So I had one list last summer, and that was with a pretty big company in Florida, in Orlando. And that was very cool. Like the location was cool and everything, and it was a great experience overall. Like just being there with like some friends, because you go with like a group of other people from here, from other schools, just in like in an apartment. They set you up and they fly you out there and everything. So that's really fun. But honestly, you get to see so much more of like what you learn here in the classroom in the real world, which is like, it's great to do that while you're still in school, because you can kind of play the, you know, like the innocent card and be like, I don't know what's going on. Can you please explain this to me? And they'll do that a lot of time for you. And that's just a great like card to have, because you don't get that once you're started and salaried and all that.
Yeah, I did my internship this last summer too in Kettering, Ohio, with Kettering Health Network. And for me, I liked it so much, I took a job there. So that was probably my favorite internship, my only internship, but my favorite.
Good. Yeah. So Kelsey, you were offered a job soon after after your junior year, you experienced in your junior year, you actually offered a job. So by the time, so you're just finishing up your senior year, but you already have a job at Kettering.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay. In the business department, do you go study abroad, and what countries do you go study abroad?
Okay, so through the Adventist, and Jerry, you might be able to answer this question maybe much better than I would, but for students that are interested in ACA, right, in Adventist colleges abroad, they're able to go out and study at any of those institutions that are outside. It might be in Britain, in Argentina. I can't remember all the countries. But also through the global development, our students can also go out and they can be able to have an internship outside of the United States. So for example, we just said a student who had considered an internship in New Zealand, and she was going to go there this summer, but obviously those plans were just scrapped because of COVID-19.
Yeah, so with ACA, Adventist Colleges Abroad, that's going to be less business specific. It's going to be more language oriented. The global development option that Dr. Tarawinga mentioned is probably going to be the more business focused thing. But ACA is typically more language and culture type classes and experiences. But that's also available. It may end up lengthening your time that you spend in college, though, in order to do that program, if it's what you choose. And we are really kind of running out of time. We have about a half dozen more questions. I don't know if we want to try to make sure that we get an email address out there so that these questions can come to you. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get through them all if they keep coming in. So,
all right, we'll just answer as many as we can. So,
okay, the next one is, what's the best fit for pre-dent with a minor in Spanish?
So what is the best fit for pre-dent? I'd say the Bachelor of Science, usually that is the best fit for any pre-professional students. Why? Because it gives them that 44 credits of general electives that they can be able to pick up all the biology, biochemistry, chemistry classes that they need for their pre-dent setting.
Okay, and the next one is, what business degree is suggested for owning your own practice?
Honestly, for that, obviously, we have a BBA with a concentration in entrepreneurship and small business. So we definitely recommend that because the classes that you take, they'll really prepare you to be able to have a pretty good overview of how you can actually be able to run your own practice. But for the most part, if you go through all our core business classes, you should be prepared to be able to go out and start your own practice too.
All right, for Carlos and Kelsey, what are you planning to use your business degree for after you graduate?
Yeah, I'm planning to go out to Kettering Health Network. I'm going to be doing a fellowship in business development.
Yeah, I really like the financial management, financial advising, portfolio management, that kind of stuff was really interesting to me. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Things are kind of tough right now with COVID, with getting communications going with hiring managers and stuff like that right now. But that's kind of like the sector that I'd be most interested in with my finance degree.
Okay, next question. Will double majoring take you longer than 4 years to complete?
So it just depends, Jerry, on what you are. In most cases, I would say yes. If you're double majoring, I think it would take you more than 4 years because it's just 192 credits to be able to graduate with one major. So, and obviously there are some general electives, right? For a BBA, for example, we only have 16 credits as general electives. So if you decide to be BBA accounting and then you decide to major in psychology, for example, that other major is going to take more than 16 credits. So obviously that will take you more than 4 years. But if you're able to transfer some classes in, if you're able to take some summer classes, that might actually shorten that time frame if you're able to do that.
Yeah, I know Kelsey did a double major, but I think she kind of hustled. I think she kind of fit a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, Kelsey, when I talk about that, I know she's taking some summer classes and talk about that.
I don't know if I'd recommend doing it in 4 years looking back, but it can be done if you want to.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. You might actually, instead of taking 16 credits, you might take a little bit more than 16 credits so that you are a step ahead. And that way you might be able to squeeze it into those 4 years with some summer classes and so forth.
Okay, let's go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to send your email address to the last few questions that remain, and then we're going to get these participants on to their next interest sessions.
Sure, wonderful.
I don't know if you have any closing remarks.
Yes, I'd like to thank everybody that is a participant today for participating in this interest session. We are glad and excited that you're considering Walla Walla University, and in this case, the School of Business, as one of the places where you'd like to study. Please let us know if you have any questions at any time, and we hope to see you this coming fall. And Kelsey and Kelsey, do you have any closing remarks for our participants?
We hope you come. It's a great department.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, just that my experience here has been really more than I expected, and I really like. I don't look back on it with regret. I think it was a really good choice to come here. So,
thank you.
All right, thanks very much, all. We appreciate it, and we're going to move on to our next interest sessions, the 5 o'clock interest sessions, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Thanks again.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, everybody.